Hi guys, and welcome to another session of the 30 days of learning. Today we're going to continue with, it's been an interesting engagement thus far. For those on data track, we started by exposing you to what is analytics, exploring the world of analytics, and understanding the best way and the step to take when approaching data analytics purposes. We want you to know that at the end of these whole 30 days of learning, you'll be well equipped to project and showcase your skill through numerous projects you will have built both with Excel and Microsoft Power BI. The goal is to make you job ready and to help you consolidate your knowledge in the data analytics space. I have with me today a very special host, Zion Bonzo Ghana, who will be walking us through how to analyze and visualize COVID-19 data using Microsoft Excel. Yes, we're going to be leveraging on Power BI later in this whole training, but let's start from Excel. Yesterday and day before yesterday, we showed you the power and the miracles of Microsoft Excel, how it has been saving lives since ages. Run a lot of things without even writing functions in Excel by running analysis. Then we're going to take it up from there. The data we are using is COVID-19 data on the web, but this data already now is on the desktop, is with Zion, and is going to be working with it from Excel desktop. We have resources that guide you to how to scrape it with yourself. So I'm going to be bringing on stage Zion. Are you there? Can you hear me?
Hello, Mr. Ibuki. I'm here.
Yeah. Okay. Can you talk a little bit loud? I mean, it's fainting, just to be sure we can.
Hello, please can you hear me now, loud and clear?
Yeah, I can. All right, so over to you.
Hello, please. Good morning or good afternoon to wherever you are. You may be. I'm in Ghana, so it's still morning. So we have it's 11:05 here. I don't know where you are. Maybe you're in Nigeria. It's afternoon. So you're all welcome to this section once again. And my name is Diane Gonzo, as Mr. Oyibuki introduced. And I'm in Ghana, Accra, and I'm also an aspiring data analyst as you are. And today I'm going to share with you how I'm going to do this COVID-19 data dashboard with you. So before that, Mr. Ibuki, please, are they going to practice along or we are going to work straight?
Those who could practice along with practice, but you should focus on making it hands-on, but be building because many just one device. So obviously, there's no way to really get involved and hands-on, and we can back from them. And so, because the session is also recorded, they can always go back and follow through. So the focus should be seamless guide, and because we're also time bound.
Okay, okay, thank you very much. Okay, so without much ado, I'll go straight to the Excel file that has been shared with you. So that's the Excel file you have, and this data set contains the COVID-19 data set for Africa. Here is only for only Africa countries that we have the data set for. So in the data set here, we have the countries for each, for they have the countries, we have the dates that it was recorded, the cases were recorded, then you have the confirmed cases, then you have the death cases, then recovered cases, then the sub-region. This sub-region has been grouped by each of the African countries, whether you are in the north or the south or the east or like the west, the western part of it. So in these cases, we have the countries here listed in this column. Then you have the date also listed in this column. You have the confirmed cases also in this column. You have the date cases with this. But mostly, when you're about going through a data set like this, what you have to do is that you have to check the data set to know if there are no null values in there or the data set is complete. So in this case, I'll go through the, since this data set here is a table form, so I'll go through the filter here to check. So I'll check if there's a blank value in this one, in this data set or this column. So I'll check here, and now I'll see that there's no blank column here. So I'll check for the other ones, the date too, I'll check. There's no blank. You have to check for the blank to know that the data set is complete. Other than that, you have to do some data cleaning to it. But this data set here has already been cleaned. So there's no data transformation, anything that you're going to do to this one. We already have the dates here with no blank values here. So I'll go straight to the point since we are time bound. So now that you have this data set here, we have for each country, for each date, for each confirmed cases. But what I am going to do now is that with this date here, I'm going to, since this date here is just a normal format date, I'm going to add the date for each of the years and another column for each of the months, then another column for each of the days. So if I'm going to do that, then it means I have to add columns to this data set here. So to do that, I'll just right click here, then insert a column. Then I'll name this column the year column, meaning that I'm going to get the year from this date into this column. Then I also do the same thing for other columns. So I'm going to add 2 columns here, select 2 columns, then add these 2 columns here. And one of the columns here is going to be for the month. I'm going to have the month here. Then this column here is going to be for the day. Yeah. So in this case, I'm going to extract the year here so that I want to use the May date here. I want to get the individual years from this data set. Then I also want to get the individual month from this data set, then the day from this data set. So to do that, to get the year, there's a function in Excel. That's the year function. If you type year, this serial number, so I have to refer to the date column here. So if I refer to the date column here into the year function, it's going to give me the individual date, but here it's not formatted. So I have to select everything here. I have to select the year, then format it as a test because this is a year. I'll format it as a test because you're not going to sum the years or you're going to accumulate the years. It's just a year, so I'll format it as a test and I'll get the individual years from the data set or from this column here. So if I open the filter button here, you can see that I have the individual years here. That's for 2020, 2021, and 2022. Now from here to I want to get the individual month here. And there's another function in Excel that you can use the month. But if you use the month, you're going to get the month number. But that's not what we want. What we want is the month name. So to get the month name, you're going to use a function in Excel that's called a test function. You're going to use the test function to convert the date here to a number or to a test. So the first one says value. So the value here is going to be the date here. Then comma, the format. The format you're going to use NN, putting them in quotes like this, something like this. So meaning that you're going to get this one in month. So if I hit enter, I'm going to get the individual month from this column. The individual month here from this column. So if I check from the filter, I'll see that I have this month here. That's the individual month from this column. Then from here to I want to get the day. So to get the day, I'll use the day function to get the individual days. So I'll use the date function. Then also refer to this date column here. Then close the parentheses, enter. I also need to format this one as a test because I'm not going to sum it. So I'll get this individual numbers here. So this one means that this date here, which is 22nd January 2020, there's the same here. So the day is 22nd, the month is January, and the year is 2020. So now that we have this date, we need to analyze the data set to know what is in the data set. So our major, because here we are now trying to analyze it, there's no other question that so you have to ask questions about this data set to analyze it. So asking questions about this data set here, we're going to use a pivot table to analyze this data set. So from there, I'm going to insert a pivot table. So I'll go to insert by first clicking inside the table. By first clicking inside the table, I'll go to insert. Then I'll choose a pivot table. So it will highlight all the table here. Then I'll choose it into a new worksheet. So here we'll go to a new worksheet. I'll click enter. Okay. Then this okay will bring out a new worksheet here. So I'm going to name this worksheet here as analysis. Analysis. So meaning that I'm going to perform all my analysis here. And when you add a pivot table, you see that you have a pivot table field here on the right side of your screen at this area on the right side, and you have the individual columns or the fields here inside the pivot table here. So here you have the country from the data set, the column country here. You have the country, you have the date, you have the year, you have the month, the day, the confirmed cases, the death cases, the recovered cases, then the sub-region here. So in this case, let's assume that we want to look at the confirmed cases here by the country. If you want to look at the confirmed cases by the country here, you go inside the pivot table here. Then this, you see on the pivot table, you have the fields here. You have the columns, the rows, the values. So in this case, you want to look at the country, the confirmed cases by country. The confirmed cases by country. So I'll click on the country, then drag it to the row. So if I drag it to the row, I'll get the individual countries here from the data set. I'll get the individual countries here from the data set. Then from here, I'm looking at the countries by the confirmed cases. So if I click on the confirmed cases, then drag it here, I'll get the values for this one. But initially, pivot tables will sum my confirmed cases. But one thing that I didn't say is that these confirmed cases here are cumulative, meaning that at each date here, it has cumulated them into, let's say if day 1 it was 2, day 3 it was 2, it was added as to the previous date to get the new one. That is cumulative. So the pivot table here, what it's doing now is that it is calculating for the cumulative values here. So you're getting the confirmed cases here for Algeria, then confirmed cases here for Angola, then that of Benin throughout up to the last country. So here you have for only African countries. We have for only African countries. Mr. Ibuki, are you around? Like, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. So
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Yes, please.
So we have for only African countries here.
There's a question here that can you zoom? Maybe you can increase the zoom rate of the Excel. I think it's at 100%, 120. Can you, of course, that's awesome.
Is this okay?
Yeah, this is okay.
Okay. So in this case, we have the cases for the countries here. That's the country that confirmed cases here. Then, then the analysis that you want to do on this is that you have for each of them, and I want to and I want to get the confirmed cases for, because we want to visualize this data, this result here. We can't use all the countries here to visualize it. So I want to get the top 5 countries. So I want to know what are the top 5 countries which recorded the highest confirmed cases here. So to do this, I'll go to this pivot table here on the countries tab, but on the here, there's this filter button. When I click on this filter button here, this will open. When this tip opens, I have to go to the value filters because I want to filter the values. So if I go to the values filters, then I choose the top 10. You see, you can filter these values here by equal to or something, but here I'm looking at the top 10. So when I click on the top 10, this pop-up box will open. When this one opens, what shows here is that you first have the top. When you click on this one, you can see the bottom or the top. I'm looking for the top. And the top here, I'm looking for the top 5. So instead of this 10 here, I'm going to use 5. So when I click tab 5, I'll get to this one by item. So I'm using the sum of confirmed cases here. When I click OK, so now this data set here has been, so now what I'm seeing here is that the top 5 countries with the highest confirmed cases, the top 5 countries with the highest confirmed cases. So I can sort this one out. I can sort this one by right clicking, then going to the sort, then sort from largest to smallest. So when I sort, I'll know which country is leading in the confirmed cases. But in this case, it is summing the cumulative value, but you will know how to go about it later as you go on. So now I have this cases, this pivot table here, which is showing the top 5 countries and their cases that have been confirmed in that country. The top 5 countries and the cases that have been confirmed. So I can also go back to this pivot table and do another analysis. Okay, now, so what is the bottom 5 or what are the bottom countries that recorded the least COVID-19 cases? So if I want to do that, I have to go back here, then insert another pivot table. But that will take some time. So instead of doing that, I'm going to select this pivot table here, copy it. I'll copy it by using Control C, then paste it down here. When I paste it here, I'll have another pivot table. Then go to the pivot table first. Okay, then go to the pivot tables first. When you go here, you can change it. You can change the rows or the values to any other thing. So instead of going back to the pivot table, the data set and bringing in another pivot table, you can just copy it, pivot table, then add, then paste it. When you paste it, then you can edit it. So in this case, I'm not looking at the top 5 again. I want to look at the bottom 5. So the same process that I used in the first one, getting the top 5, I'll use the same process to get the bottom 5. So in this case, I'll go to the filter button here, then values filter, then top 10. When I go to the top 10, now I'm not looking at the top 10, I'm looking at the bottom. So I'll go here and look at the bottom 5. Then I click OK. Now this is what I'm going to have. But one other thing that you have to do is that you have to come up with more pivot tables here. So it will be prudent for us to name each pivot table. So this pivot table that we have here, you have to name it so that when you're using it, you know that this is the pivot table is talking of top 10, top 5. This one too is talking of top bottom 5. So in this case, I'm going to name this pivot table here by going to the
Yeah,
tabs
so
here.
sorry for interrupting for a few minutes, a few seconds. There are two issues here that I need to address. Some
Okay.
people are having challenge to see maybe a very clear video. Most of the time, it is your bandwidth. So if your network is slow, automatically YouTube will reduce it to maybe 144 pixel, and everything will not be that clear. All you just have to do is click on the YouTube settings and increase it, but that will consume more data because network is not fast, then you might be skipping or something like that. And that's one. But two, people ask that, oh, this data is different from what we used before. So the same process you have applied there is what you should apply. He downloaded data we're using is a downloaded exe file from the platform. But what we did was to show you exactly how to scrape by connecting your data. So what happened from this sample now is if there's a new data as of yesterday, this exe file will not have it. The process we follow to scrape. If there's a new data today, you will have it because it automatically synchronized to pull the data, which need internet access. All right, so don't fret over anything. Everything he has done there, you can do it. You should do it on that data. There's confirmed cases. There's everything. So that's clarified that question and the issue of bandwidth. And I think the last one is because of streaming quality, sometimes you should be a bit slower with your reactions, Zion. So meaning when you speak, then you can talk. Because most of the time after you've talked, that's when you see what you have clicked because of the lag. So you can click on something, then tell us, be able to see and hear all at the same time. Thank you.
Okay, I think it's actually raining here, so my network has been very bad. I think that's why this is happening.
It's understandable. proceed.
I think my net, my XFI is quite zoomed out. You can see
Yeah,
it now.
it's fine. The Zoom is fine. Everything is clear. Is clear now.
Okay. So to go over what I was saying, I used the from the from the data set here. I added a pivot table to get into this sheet here. So this pivot table here is you're looking at the top 5 countries with the most confirmed cases. That's for this pivot table here. And this one down here, you're looking at the bottom 5 countries with the most confirmed cases. So here, for me to get here, initially the data set was I had to go to the footer button here on the pivot table. Then go to value filters. When you go to value filters, this pop-up will appear. Then from here, I go to the top 10. When you go to top 10, you see this pop-up box appears here. But here I'm looking at the top 5. So the top 5, I have to here instead initially to be 10. But I don't want the 10 here. I'm looking at top 5. So instead of 10, I'll delete this, then type 5. Okay. When I do that, I'm going to get the cases for the top 5 countries. For the top 5 countries here. Then the same thing applies to this one to get the bottom 5. To get a bottom 5 for this one. Please, am I going too fast or it's not okay?
It's now okay. It's okay. Let's proceed.
Okay. Okay. So now I have the bottom 5 and the top 5. So as I was saying that if you look at these 2 pivot tables here, you may not know which one is the bottom 5 or the top 5. So I want to name these pivot tables here so that if I come here, I will know that this pivot table here is the top 5. This one here is the bottom 5. So I'll click inside this first one here. When you look at the tabs here, you can see pivot table analyze. When you click on this pivot table analyze here, and look on the left, far left, where the pivot table, the far left, under the far, you see pivot table name. And this pivot table name, I want to change this pivot table name to top 5 countries. So something like top 5 countries. Then enter. When you're naming, you don't have to leave spaces. You can't leave spaces to name it. You can use underscore, but you can't use spaces. So this pivot table here is for top 5. So when I come here to, I have to do the same thing to it. So I'll click on this, go to pivot table analyze, then the pivot table name, then change this one to bottom 5. Bottom 5. Bottom 5 countries. Then change this one to. So now I have these 2 pivot tables here. And one is for the top 5 countries with the most confirmed cases. These ones are the bottom countries. So if you look at the top 5 countries, you see that South Africa, Morocco, Tunisia, Egypt, then Ethiopia are in the top 5. And when you look at the bottom 5, you see that you have Guinea-Bissau, Chad, Liberia, then you have all these countries here being at the bottom 5. So now we've asked ourselves these 2 questions, the top 5 countries and the bottom 5. Now I want to also look at a different dimension from this data set. So you want to see, so overall, what are the total confirmed cases? What are the total confirmed death cases from this data set here? So as I said, mostly you have to go back to the data set here, then bring another pivot table. But you want to scale that by first copying one of the pivot tables. You can copy any of them. But first copying one of the pivot tables using the control C, then paste it at where you want to paste it, anywhere, as this. After pasting, you get another pivot table here. Then you can edit it. You can edit these pivot tables here because here you're having countries on the row. They have the confirmed cases. Sorry, we having
Sorry, there's some background noise.
and that's the tender. It's raining here very heavily.
Okay.
That's the tender. It's raining here very heavily. I don't know. Hello.
Proceed.
So here,
Yes.
so here we have the confirmed cases here. So I want to change this one to the date, or I want to get the individual one. So let me take everything out of this pivot. The country will be out, the confirmed cases to be out. So I have a raw pivot table layout like this. So I want to get the confirmed cases. I want to drag the confirmed cases to the value field. Then add the death cases also to the value field. Then add, okay, I want to do only these two. So now what you're seeing here is that this is the values for all the confirmed cases. And this is also the value for all the death cases that has been recorded. But it is cumulative. That I will know how to go about it when we get there. These ones are cumulative. Now I want to see the next thing I want to see here. I want to see what is the death rate. And for me to get the death rate for this one, the death rate is going to be like the death cases divided by the confirmed cases. Know the death rate. So to do that, I'm going to use the equal to sign here. Then refer to the death cases here divided by the confirmed cases here. Then enter. So this is going to give me in a percentage form. Now I can format this by going to the number formatting here as a percentage. I can increase the values, the decimals. The name here as death rate. So from the pivot table, I'll be able to add a new function like this to get the death rate by dividing the death cases by the confirmed cases. So in this case, I'm getting the values for each of them by just dragging these ones into the pivot table values without adding any row. Because if you add a new row, it's going to give you the context. But no, I want only the raw values here. So now from here, I can also do another one by getting the case confirmed cases by the sub-region. So now if I ask, so what is the in each sub-region, what are the confirmed cases? Because what we're doing now is like we're trying to analyze our main interests are the confirmed cases. So we're trying to get what are the confirmed cases by sub-region. So in this case, I also do the same thing by copying this pivot table or copying any of the pivot tables here. I can copy any of the pivot tables here. Then paste it. If I paste it, then I can edit it again by bringing the floats here out. By bringing this float out, then add the sub-region. So you look through the floats here, then add a sub-region to the row. When you add a sub-region to the row, you get the individual sub-regions from the data set. So here you have the Eastern Africa, you have the Northern Africa, the Northern Africa, the Southern Africa, then the Western Africa. So I want to look at it by the confirmed cases. So I'll click on the confirmed cases here, then add it to the values field, here. And this is going to give me the confirmed cases by the sub-region. The confirmed cases by, so each of the sub-regions here, to get to the values from there. Each of the values for there is to get to the values from there. Now from here to, I can do the same, but as I said, you have to name these pivot tables here for you to know which one you are referring to at any point. So I can go to the pivot table analyze, then change the name here to cases, something like cases by sub-region. So I have these cases by sub-region here. Then I can do this one too. I can name. Then I can also look at another dimension. So what has been the year trend of the COVID-19 cases? Or what is the COVID-19 cases by year? So I can also copy this table here, this pivot table, paste it where I want to, anywhere I want to put it. Then edit it by first removing the sub-region from it. Then adding the year from the year calculation that we take. Adding the year into this one. So in this case, we look at each year, 2020, This was the accumulated confirmed cases. 2021, 2022. This is the values that we're getting here. Then I can name this one to the pivot table by going to the pivot table analyze. Then name this one cases by year. Cases by year. I can do the same thing by looking at okay the cases by month. So I can pay this table here, then paste it anywhere that you want as this. Then edit it by removing the year column, the year from the first, then add month. So you now see that you're getting January, February, March, April from the data set. That's the data, the month column that you added into this one. The pivot table is giving us the values here. So in each month, this is the values that we had for the confirmed cases here. So we can also rename it as the cases by month. As the cases by month here. So now we have done some quite few analysis. So if you have looked at the confirmed cases, we have looked at confirmed cases by country. And here you're looking at the top 5 here. And you have also looked at the confirmed cases by the country, the bottom 5. And here we looked at the confirmed cases for all, like all the years, so confirmed cases, the individual ones. Then here too, in this pivot table here too, we looked at the confirmed cases by region. That's each of the regions. And here too, the next one, we are looking at the confirmed cases by year. Then on the come down, we're also looking at confirmed cases by month. So now that you have done this analysis, you can go on and ask yourself some questions and analyze them. You can look at it by death cases, by recovered cases. But for now, we are focusing on the confirmed cases here. So when you go to the analysis sheet here, we have this pivot tables. That's one for the confirmed cases, the top 5, another for the bottom 5, then another for the by region, then another by year, then another by month. So now you want to visualize this data or this pivot tables here. So what you have to do is that the countries by month here, you want to visualize it. So just click inside one of these pivot tables or any of the cells here in this pivot tables here. Then you go to pivot table analyze, because here we're using the pivot table. So go to pivot table analyze. Then on the far right, at the tools here, you can see pivot chart. You can see pivot chart. So when you go to pivot chart, you click on the pivot chart. It will give you the charts that are in Excel that you can use. So the first one here is a column chart, and a line chart, a pie chart, a bar chart. You have to look at the ones that it is going to show the data appropriately. So in this case, I'm going to use a bar chart for this. So if I click on this bar chart, I first select the bar chart, then click OK. So if I click on this bar chart here, this pivot table here is going to give me a chart from this. So this one is going to be the top 5. The top 5 countries with the highest confirmed cases. But this is how the bar chart looks like. So now, mostly you may see a bar chart in this order. But if you don't like the order that you have, this is showing in this order because we have sorted the data by ascending or by highest to lowest. So I want to sort it, resort this one. So go to our right, click on the data, the pivot table, then sort. Now do it from sort smallest to largest. So you can see that the bar chart here will change to this present. This is how it's going to be again. Because I've resorted this one from the lowest to the highest. I'm going to get something like this. So this one is going to be for the confirmed the top 5. Hello, Mr. Are you there? Can you hear me? I see some.
I can hear you.
So I can go ahead.
Yes, please. See that any question that we can address right now, there is none. I can understand that some people are having network challenges, and also from yours, there's a bit of network issue that is not making the timing almost perfect with the actions on the screen, but it is still understandable. So if you're able to complete this on time, meaning we have time to explain further or to explain better those concepts. So please proceed. If there are any questions, I'll definitely call your attention to them.
Okay, okay, okay. So as I was saying, I want to get, so this data here, this chart here is showing me the top 5 countries, the highest confirmed cases. So I can use the same way on the same procedure on the other pivot tables here. So here, but let me say something before I add this chart here. I want to add another sheet where this sheet, I'll add another sheet here. They name this sheet as the dashboard. So this is where I'm going to build my dashboard. So what is happening here is that from the top 5 countries here, this values here is going to give me the values for the top 5. So I have my charts. That's the chart for the top 5 here. Then I can do same to get the chart for the bottom 5 and the chart for the other ones. But before going to do the other ones, I want to do some editing here because on the other ones I will just skip that one. So here you can see these buttons here, the sum of confirmed cases, country, and I don't want them on this chart. So I can click on any of them, then right click, then hide all fraud buttons. So I want to hide all the fraud buttons on this chart. When I do that, these charts they have disappeared. And I can see this legend here, total. I don't want this total here because it doesn't make any sense to use it on this pivot on this chart. So I'll just highlight it and delete it. So now I have my pivot table or my pivot chart as this. So I can do same on the bottom 5 to visualize the bottom 5 countries with the highest confirmed cases. So I'll click inside one sheet. When I click inside one sheet, then I go to the pivot table analyze, then pivot chart. So in this case, you can have all the charts that will appear. You can choose the one that is best for your best, that visualize the data best. But I'm also going to use a bar chart to visualize the bottom 5. So I'll select the bar chart, then look, you can preview the chart, then go to OK to select the chart. So when you do that, the pivot table is going to give you a pivot chart that you can use that will visualize the cases, the bottom 5 countries. So I'll do the same thing by removing all the fraud buttons on this. So I'll right click, then hide all fraud buttons. Then I'll do the same thing by removing the legend here. That's the total legend here. Remove it. Then you can also see that this data set here is also sorted in ascending order from the highest to the lowest. I don't want this one. I don't want it this way. So I want to sort it again. So I'll resort this one by going to the largest, the smallest, sorting from smallest to largest. So now I can see that my data set has now changed its display. So it's now sorting in this order. So now I have two charts here. I have two charts here. And to make this two charts here known, you see that I have these two charts here. This one showing the top 5, and here this one showing the bottom 5. I can do same for the other visuals here. So if I do same, I want to look at the confirmed cases by the sub-region. I want to visualize it. So I can click on this, then the same procedure, go to pivot table analyze, then pivot chart. Then I can choose this, but here I'm going to use a column chart for this one. So when I first select the column chart, then I click OK. I can do the same thing on this. Remove all the foot buttons there, then get the values for this pivot chart here. So individual chart that I have here, I have this for here, this one. And I also do the same thing for the year. So the year pivot chart analyze, then pivot chart. I'm going to use the line chart for the year because I want to use the line chart for the year. Then I'll choose OK. The next one will also happen here to be here. Then I'll apply the same thing. Hide all fruits from the pattern. Then delete the total from here, from this area. After deleting, I have this. So I also want to show this one to by month. Also using a line chart. So I'll go to the month, confirm cases by month, then show this also using the line chart by first clicking inside one of the cells. Then I go to pivot table analyze, then pivot chart. Then here I also want to use a line chart to show the monthly confirmed cases. So I can add to get this monthly confirmed cases here. Then I'll hide all the float buttons from this. Now I have this one to get to the monthly confirmed cases here. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to on this dashboard sheet. First, I want to go to the view tab. When you go to the view tab, you can see grid lines. I don't want to see this grid lines here. The box plots here, I don't want to see them. So I'll just hide the grid lines. And now I have a plain background. So what I'll do is that when I go to the analyze sheet, I first pick the first one, the first chart that I made. That's the top 5 countries. I'll paste, copy. You can copy or you can cut it. So for me, I'm going to cut this one. So I use Control and S to cut this chart. Then I go to the dashboard sheet. Then I'll paste it here. I'll go to the dashboard sheet. Now I'll paste it here. So here here is the chart pattern. So I can name this one as top five countries. I'll edit it later. Top 5 countries. Then the same thing can happen on the other ones. So I go to the bottom 5 here. I select the chart, then cut the chart. If I cut it, then I go to my dashboard sheet. Then I paste it. So Control V to paste it here. So I'll get my chart on this dashboard sheet. And I can also rename this total here to bottom 5 countries. I'll rename them later. Bottom 5 countries. So why we are doing this is that at the end of the day, you want to visualize this data set here on a dashboard, on a single dashboard. You don't want them to be messed up with the pivot table here. So that's why I'm copying each of them, then place them on the dashboard sheet by first creating the sheet, then hiding the grid lines, then copying the chart from the analysis sheet onto the dashboard sheet. So I'll do the same thing for the cases by sub-region. So but before I do that, I want to sort this one so that the chart will appear in an order. So I'll sort this one, the how do you call it? I'll sort the sub-regions, the confirmed cases by sub-regions from largest to smallest. Let me resort it again. So this is how it's going to appear after sorting it. Have a chart. Get first. I also copy this or cut this one, the chart, then place it on the dashboard here, and place it on the dashboard. So after doing that, I also apply the same settings. I'll delete this. Then you can see the numbers here. Because I'll be adding a detail label, I want to take this ones out by selecting it, then deleting it. I also do the same thing for this chart too. I'll select the numbers here. That's the SRS. I don't want it. Because I'll add a detail label also by deleting it. Then I'll do the same process for this. That's the top 5 countries. I also select this, then delete it. So now I've imported this chart from the analysis sheet onto the dashboard sheet. Hello, please can you hear me? Can I go ahead? Hello, is my network okay? Can I go ahead?
Yeah, I can hear you. Please go ahead. We have like 7 minutes to finalize
Ah,
this so that ask some questions, 1 or 2 questions.
but
So
this
let's see
so
what is possible.
so I think the time.
So even if it is 3 charts, let's apply the thing, even if it is what you have right now, so that we are sure that we can conclude on one.
Okay, okay,
Lead.
okay. So let me work on this. So with this one, I want to add a dashboard to this. So first, what I want to do is that with the grid lines on this chart, I want to select these grid lines, then delete it. I'll do the same process for this. I'll go select the grid lines here, then also delete them. Then grid lines, then delete them. So it is very short. So what's happening is that I have the top 5 countries here with their top 5 countries. But each bar here is, I want to increase the size of the bars. So what I'll do is that I'll just select the bars here, then go to format, then chart format. So this format select. So this one will appear. When this one appears here, if you look on the right side here, you can see the gap width. I want to decrease this gap width, so I can decrease it to, let's say, 50. I can see that the size of the chart here have been increased. I can do the same procedure for this ones. Then increase decrease the gap width here to 50. Also do the same procedure for this. Increase the gap width to 50. So I'm going to increase each of them. So I have these 3 charts here. I have these 3 charts here. So to do the dashboard, I'm going to add a shape onto this one. So I'm going to add a shape by first going to the insert. I go to insert, then illustrations, then shape. I want to add this rectangle here. So I'll select the rectangle and draw it here. So I have my rectangle selected. So here, with each of the charts, you can change the colors or you can add the heading to it. Now, adding this, I can select this one, go to insert, then add a text box. Now drag the text box here. Hello, can you hear me? Since my network is not working,
I can hear you now.
you can hear me now. Okay, sorry. So now I have this. So you can add the title of the dashboard here. You can add the title of the dashboard here. And you can also change the title here to top 5 countries with the highest confirmed cases. When you change this one, this is going to be the title for this chart. Then you can also do the same thing, apply the same thing to this by first selecting on the box here, then editing it top the bottom 5 countries. Also, so you can also do the same thing. Then here too, confirmed cases and sub-region. Now I have this chart here. Now you need to actually edit this chart and go through the actual dating bar. Since there's no time on our side, I don't even know what to do. So I want to name this chart by first highlighting on the rectangle here. They're going to the formula bar, then rename it as COVID-19 cases. So we can add it, but since the time, so when this being my can go to the new tab. So
All
after
right,
adding
because
it,
of time, while
because
you are
of
still
time,
doing that, thank you, Zion. Want everyone listening to be aware that we'll find a clearer version across to you. I believe by the time you're done, uh, yeah, we can see your screen again, Zion.
I'm sharing it.
Okay, I mean, I just want to pass this so that people that joining this session and is still available for on demand or find more ways to break down, this kind of content as we continue to go on. Uh, Another interesting thing is similar storytelling report like this. We're still going to build that right? When we get to that session. I think that should be Monday next week. We'll be breaking this in Power BI. That'll be opportunity for you to relearn again and see how things are being done in Power BI. Okay. There are no questions now. Okay, you can edit data label. I see a question there. What about the data label you mentioned? You can edit the charts and just add data label. I can't see your screen. Are you sharing your screen?
Yes, yes, I'm sharing it. So then to add a data label, when you
Okay, it's not
click on the chart, you see the plus sign
producer.
here, then add a data label. So it's going to give you the data
It's
label
not
too.
that obviously the producer did not push that. So okay, because of time, we are out of time and we're unable to capture all. But of course, it's so insightful to see exactly. It's so insightful to see things that lead and guide us towards is here for reporting and dashboard. And a lot of people, what they need is the spark. Oh, this is how I can actually create something like this. They will play with this same data and also come up with something great. Um, Questions, is it necessary to have data labels to make your graph and chart more readable? Data label helps you. So if you have bar charts or any type of charts, how do you know what is happening? They're just long, but that is not enough. You want to carry your stakeholders along. You want to give them confidence by the look of, by the look at your chart or your dashboard and the message. So when you have bars that are longer than each other, if you put a data label that shows, oh, this is the counts or the cases or whatever value you are dealing with, it helps them to do more than one thing. They see the numbers and they can see how far they are from each other through the bars. So it is helpful. Right? Someone asked, how can I get the data set for the class? If you have signed up using NG 30 days of learning or 30 aka.ms/30 days of learning reg. That is the link. You have access to our Discord channel where we actually drop details like that. I'm also going to post on Twitter the link to help get the data. The best approach is to scrape and show you how exec and scrape data. We will walk through this as well. I want to use this time to say a special thank you to our facilitator today, Zion. We quite understand the challenges you're having with the networks and so the rain, even right now, is still raining. And however, we thank you for being able to fight through these challenges and still do your best in this session. Time could not allow us, we would have had so much to share. We'll still continue sharing discussions, learning, question and answer, conversations continue in the Discord channel. I would say thank you and bye to you all.
Mr. Iboke, please, I think before you leave, can you can you share this screen that I've shared to them so that still be available to take them through how I did this one, even after today, because of the time I couldn't go throughout. So if you can share this screen for
Yeah,
them, so that I'll let them know that I can give out my number or my contact, then they can reach out to me anytime, any day that I can take them through how I was able to come up with this.
so what I will do, okay, tweet on Twitter, I will tag you. Easy, it will be easier for them to directly from Twitter, or also get you added to our Discord channel as a mentor so that they can ask you question right there. I think that would be
Okay,
easier to take
okay,
it.
okay, okay, okay. And thank you.
Hey, thank you very much, and thanks everyone. So thanks to our producer who helped us with this session. Bye for now, everyone.